What is up, guys? It is time to get some more best ball draft action in on Underdog. And I know some of you have been waiting for this. Let's do it. And, this is still a good time to do it because, as you know, training camp for everybody is going to get started at some point this week. Still weird that NFL teams don't all report at the exact same time. But, in a couple of days, we're going to see the majority of actual veterans, not just rookies, showing up. Maybe not showing up. Who knows? Let's talk about holdouts and hold-ins, whatever. We'll figure it out as we go on, and hopefully no injuries. Like fingers crossed. Maybe this is the year. Maybe finally 2025 is the year where not a single NFL player gets hurt the entire season. You never know, right? Crazier things have happened, and that's an understatement these days. But hey, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, whatever's going on, we're going to draft. We're going to make the best team possible. Let's get to it. Now, a couple of things here before I get into it. So first of all, I know some of you are waiting. I got some requests in the chat already about contests. I'm good with any of it, honestly. Which by the way, I was maybe a minute or two late, which is not unusual for me, but I had to catch up because I decided finally I was going to max something. And I did it on the German Shepherd, but Superflex. And Superflex isn't like my favorite, but I was like, okay, I waited too long on the other one. I think it was the mini Schnauzer. I only got like 12 drafts in. So I was like, fine, forget it. 20 slow drafts all at once. Let's go. And that's what I'm doing. I have 20 slow drafts going on at the same time. So I'm always on the clock. But I caught up. What do we want to do here? I was going to do Best Ball Mania because we don't have that much time before it's going to close. And I know it's still got plenty of room left, as you can see there, which, by the way, I'm show you what I'm talking about here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, your first time joining us or maybe watching a live stream, welcome. Appreciate you being on here. Let me tell you what this is about. We're going to try to win money, a big tournament on Underdog. And more importantly, we're going to have fun drafting fantasy football team that we don't have to think about once the season starts. No setting lineups, no trading. Hey, a guy gets injured, don't worry. The next man up on the bench will take his place automatically. Best Ball is really the way to go. So Best Ball Mania 6 is the flagship contest on Underdog. If you don't have an Underdog account, by the way, just download the app. It's called Underdog. Or go to underdogfantasy.com, sign up. It's quick, it's easy. And whatever you put in, by the way, as far as your first deposit, can't believe I forgot to put that up. Your very first deposit, whatever you put in there, you get it matched by them. I believe it's still a 50% deposit match. Up to $1,000 of bonus cash gets added to your account depending on how much you put in there. So go ahead and do that, and you get a free pick. And we're going to talk pretty soon about our NFL pick'ems. I just did one. You know what? Hope they all come true, because if so, I get a nice fat bonus waiting for me at the end of the NFL season. They might not all come true, but the good thing too is you get the flex. You can kind of take insurance, I guess you can call it. So if one of those picks misses, you still win out. So I kind of chickened out. I did the insurance there, the flex, but I still have a nice payout if they come true. But I'm going to share those picks with you another time. Let's get to drafting here. So I got a request here for Joseph wants to do one of the $5, the puppy, the rookie sophomore. That's too small. I hate to say. I mean, you can get in there, but those are just like 6 people drafts. Do we want a Best Ball Mania, or do we want to do a puppy? Anybody who's actually going to jump in here and do it with me, let me know before I jump in here. All right. So if anybody cares, I'm fine doing a puppy. I agree. I'm not going to come close to maxing it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. It's okay. You don't have to max every contest. All it takes is one entry, right? All it takes is one. If you draft right, you could win it. So we can do either Best Ball Mania, which is $25 entry. That's the big one, the big prize. And then the Puppy 2 is only $5 to get $5 just to get in a draft and have some fun and have a chance to win. 100,000 goes to first place. They also have the what Joseph mentioned, the rookie sophomore here. It's just a 4-person draft, and tight ends are not required because it's what it sounds like. It's only rookies and sophomores, so a very limited draft pool there. That's a very quick draft. If you want to draft in like 10 minutes, you can do one of those. The Eliminator, a little different vibe there. You got the Sprint, which is interesting. It's just the postseason, like the fantasy postseason, weeks 15 to 17. It's kind of weird. I haven't wrapped my head around why I would do that one, but it's there. The marathon is just your old school best ball, no tournament, no playoffs, just weeks 1 through 17. They haven't have the Badge Bros Brawl, which, by the way, I'm gonna proudly show off. I finally got a badge on Underdog. Kind of surprised I didn't have one already, but finally got one because I did all those slow drafts at once. Puppy. Everybody wants the puppy, except for Anwar. Sorry, Anwar, you got outvoted. All right, let's jump in here, guys, and you can help me fill it up. Let's go. The puppy 2. It doesn't have that much longer. You're right. It's going to get filled. So let's get in it. Get your Underdog app open. 20 seconds per pick, of course. It should be on there by default. And 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Plenty of room. All right, guys. You wanted it. Let's get in there. Let's fill this thing up. And that was quick. Y'all weren't lying. You really did want to do a puppy. All right. Well, here we are. And I'm at the 10th spot. Let me know which spot you guys are at. I see Anwar. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you got in there anyways, even though you wanted the BBM. I think that's Daniel at the 2. Let me bring the draft board up. Let me switch this up. All right. So let's see here. I'm not going to get snipes when I know basically all of y'all are in this draft. Which, by the way, I'm also let me switch this up. I think that's fine. That should be fine, right? All right. There we have it. Dark Stars at the 4. Joseph, you got the 8. It's not ideal. Cody's at the turn. That's a nice one. Got the 12. All right. Scott, did you get in? You said you want to do a puppy. I don't know if you just want to watch it, but and you guys are in here, let me know. What's up, Gabriel? All right, so let's talk about that 8-9 spot. Good afternoon. Yeah, appreciate it. 8.5 PPR. Is Puka normally stick around till pick 8-9? Probably. It's not a given. It really depends because you see some of those guys flip flop. Like let's say Sun God, Puka, Nico. You know, there's not a consensus. Even Malik Neighbors. I mean, there's drafts where Malik Neighbors is available at the 8-9. In your half PPR, again, not your best ball, not your highly competitive shark leagues. Most people will go running back. It's like, look at what we got right now. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. We have 4 running backs so far in the first 7 picks, and we got 3 receivers. Puka's on the board, but see right here, 8-9. Okay, there goes Puka at the 8. It could have been Neighbors. It could have been Sun God. It could have been Nico. So it's like a 50-50 proposition, I would say. I'm fine either way here. Nico, Sun God. I'll go Sun God, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't assume he's going to be there, but there's a decent chance. What's up, Alex? Alex got the membership, by the way. Gotta always give a shout out to the members. That's right. We're almost there. We're almost there. And Royland, what would trade away Brees to get Garrett Wilson in Dynasty? Yes, definitely. Definitely. Not just because it's receiver for running back, although generally better to have a receiver than a running back. And we're not talking about an older receiver. You're not talking like Mike Evans. You're talking about Garrett Wilson, who just got paid. He's going to be the franchise guy there. Yeah, I'm definitely taking Garrett Wilson over Brees Hall in Dynasty. And I'm going to take Henry London. This is where I get to decide my build. I mean, I could go either way. You know what? I have a lot of Henry. I'm gonna keep going. I'm trying to invest a little bit more in Drake London because I'm trying to back up what I said. I really think Drake London could be a top 5 fantasy receiver this year. So let's do it. Drake London it is. Scott, I mean, that sucks. He missed. Got number 1 on the next draft. Well, we'll do another one. Don't worry. We got plenty more time left to do some more best ball drafts. Let's see. So Pat wants to know how far does Rashee Rice drop? You know what? I haven't seen him drop that much in best ball, honestly, because I think people don't want to overreact to the news. And, you never want to overreact and think, well, I'm not drafting that guy. He might miss 2, 3 games. I don't think. I mean, we've heard it could be more. I don't see it happening. I think realistically, 3, maybe 2 or 3 games sounds like what it might be. But again, what we keep saying is more important than even how many is when are those games. If it's the beginning of the season, early ish, you almost don't care because it's like the same as if a guy misses 1 or 2 weeks with an injury. It didn't ruin his season. And ahead of time. So hopefully that's kind of baked into his ADP. Here, I will say it's about time. Look, Rashee Rice was going way too early. Like way too. I've been saying this for weeks and weeks, and you guys know if you've been watching all offseason, I would not. I refused to draft Rashee Rice in round 2. I wasn't doing it. It had nothing to do with suspension. It was just too early. And now his ADP looks like it's at 33. I think that's reasonable finally. Now he's right there neck and neck with Terry McLaurin. I'm still taking Terry McLaurin. I know now people are worried about Terry because of the whole contract situation. I don't see Terry McLaurin just flat out missing games, like sitting out the season. And I don't see Washington really being that dumb that they don't pay him at all. So I'm not backing off of Terry, and I'd still rather have Terry. Well, there goes Terry. So yeah, Rashee Rice will drop a little. I think now he's dropping to where he should have been all along. So I don't see him falling way too far unless we get some shocking news as far as like he's going to miss 6 games. I don't see that happening. It's remember, it's still the NFL. Yeah, I know, Paz. You're saying I think Rappaport 6 games. They always oversell it and they always underdo it with discipline. The NFL. So if it's 6 games, then yeah, he definitely does need to drop. And there he is right there, sitting there for me to not take. Let's see. You know what? I could go Evans again, or I could go Breece. I'll go Breece. I have so much Mike Evans. And that's what I love about one of these drafts. You don't think just player, you got to think position, you got to think matchups. I mean, no true drafts are alike, but that's why you have to do a lot of these, right? You keep doing them over and over again so you can compare it to your previous draft. Except now, problem is I've fried my own brain on Superflex because I'm in 20 Superflex drafts at the exact same time. So I have to readjust my thinking. I'll tell you what, it's interesting. And part of the reason I did this is not, again, that I love Superflex so much. Okay, there goes Hampton. Hold on a second. I'm still not taking Rice. I don't mind Kittle here, but you know what? I think it's still a good value for Kyron. I'll go Kyron. It's fine. I think there's an advantage to be had because you think that, more advanced players or drafters, I guess, do those super flex. And maybe that's true. You'll see more badges in there. Oh, by the way, you forgot to show off. Can't see it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Yeah, there it is. See my badge? There it is. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Got the badge finally. Now I just need a red badge. I really think like when I wind up doing those teams, because people talk about overreacting in the superflex drafts. Yeah, you want 2 good quarterbacks, but people go so quarterback heavy, and it's like one of those FOMO things. Like you can't not get a quarterback, at around 2, if not 2 quarterbacks, because everybody else has got them, and oh no, I'm going to miss out, and then I'm going to be stuck with Kenny Pickett as my quarterback. And that doesn't realistically happen. There's only so many starting quarterbacks in the league, and you can only start 2 in Superflex, right? Some people still take 3 quarterbacks before they've got a receiver, running back, which to me just doesn't make sense. But okay, but this is where you get insane value on receivers and running backs. So I'll come out even with 2 decent quarterbacks. Like, sure, maybe I didn't get Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, but my quarterbacks would be like Justin Fields and Justin Herbert. Totally fine, especially in best ball. Totally fine. Those are my 2 in a super flex league, and I wound up getting Justin Jefferson in round 1 because I didn't take a quarterback. And then after that, in round 2 or 3, wherever I landed, I got another really good receiver, like a Terry McLaurin. And so I wound up liking a lot of my drafts better in those leagues. It's kind of just reading the room, and that's what fantasy football is all about, right? Getting the best value. So maybe it's just because I've done so many now, I already know where everyone's get drafted. I don't know. All right. Looks like I'm back on the clock. Almost. There goes Ridley. Well, I'm good at running back right now. I got 2. I like Rome. I'll take Rome here. Yeah, I'll tell you though, this is why I don't usually take my second running back that early. It's because right now this is a really good spot to take an RB2, like a Connor, who is just high floor, or a Harvey or a Henderson that has high ceiling. So I don't know if this will wind up being my favorite, but actually I'm good. I got 3 good receivers, so I shouldn't hate this. I don't need a tight end or a quarterback here. Surprised nobody's taken Burrow yet, but I'm not going to take Burrow because I don't have a stack. So you know what I'll do is you know what? I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to take my third running back here because I still like the value at running back better. I'd rather have Harvey or Connor than Judy or Addison, who might also miss games. All right, let's see what we got here. KJ, 10 team, full PPR, pick 7. Who would you select in the second round? Jacobs, Nico, Achane, St. Brown, and London. No bad choices there. I mean, I don't know who you picked in the first round, but it shouldn't necessarily matter. You still can just go best available. I'm probably going Achane since it's a more shallow league, and I want that firepower running back, and there's still so many good receivers there. But if you didn't take Achane, if you want a receiver there, again, it's almost a coin toss. I'm usually going Nico. So I'm going to go Achane or Nico. All right, let's slide this thing down. Let's take a quick look here. Noir noticing got the Bills duo. Can't say stack. Got Josh Allen and James Cook. Interesting. Let's see. Daniel's on the clock. He took Laporta. I'm actually kind of coming around on Laporta, believe it or not. I don't know why. Let's see. That's 12. Ashton Jonte, JD. All right. Solid so far. Okay. Pat. Again, in a 12-team league, what's the strategy for the first 4 rounds? Well, I hate to say, but it's not just running back receiver. You don't want to go in saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It depends what the way the draft goes and what your league mates do. It really does. In a 12-team league, it could play out any way. I mean, you could really wait and not take a running back at all in the first 4 rounds and come out with a monster team if you do 0 RB. I don't think I would do running back necessarily, but look, if you get 2 stud running backs, it's okay to do that too. If your league is going to go running back crazy in the first 2 rounds and take them all up, it doesn't mean you need one. It means you can just get load up on receiver. So I'm not going to get a top 3 quarterback, though. I will say that. Okay. I'm about to time out because I just realized I'm on the clock. Let's see. I should have taken another receiver sooner. This is what happens when I go. What happens when I go too heavy on running back early? But you know, it's fine. This is my 4th receiver. I think Downs will be okay. He's more of a floor play than a ceiling play, but I still take him over Jayden Reed. All right, hold on. Before I get to the rest of your comment, because I'm about to come up on the clock again. Don't really have any. No need to take a quarterback yet. Oh, all right. Well, just pluck Hawk right out of my queue. Why don't you? You knew I was going to take him, didn't you? All right. I see. That's fine. No problem. And I'm not the only one going more RB heavy. This is I don't know, maybe a hyper fragile build. Henry given Sunday here right before me. He's got HN Hampton, Mixon, Kamara. Interesting. You know what? Maybe should I do it? Maybe I should just do that. I don't love the receivers here, and I don't. You know what? Fine. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, I might take a fifth running back just because I don't have like a Saquon or a Bijan, but let's do it. Let's load up on running backs early and see where that lands us. Yeah, Pat, I'm not usually taking a quarterback in the first couple of rounds necessarily because it's fine to do that. Like I'm not against it, but only if it's maybe round 3 or 4. It's just the edge in having, that quarterback versus a quarterback you can get much later. I don't think is as big as getting that elite receiver or running back. So, but yeah, I can't tell you get running back, or receiver, running back. You don't want to go in doing that. But that's why we have we call it the draft pilot, the live draft pilot on Draft Lane. Some of you are familiar with that from last year, and we'll have it again this year. So I'm still tweaking the rankings all the time. It suggests who you should take based on what you have. So it's basically in your ear while you're drafting, saying, "Hey, you should probably look at this guy," or take one of these players. It suggests it. So definitely a cool feature. We'll talk a lot more about it pretty soon. Don't worry. Yeah, Scott, that's a great point here. You could get away with waiting toward the end of your draft and starting a CJ Stroud and be fine. I think CJ Stroud was disappointing last year, but he should be better this year. I think it's fine. All right, what's up, William? In a Superflex 2-keeper league, got Justin Fields for 10th and Jason for 11th. Nice. Yeah, that was really smart to keep Fields because we didn't know what was going to happen with him. I mean, there was some doubt as to whether he was even going to be a starter, what team. So if you kept him, I don't know when you selected your keepers, if it was last year or this year, but yeah, in a super flex, that's extremely valuable. JSN for 11th, I mean, that's great. So, I guess I'll go B plus. I can't say an A because it's Justin Fields. It's not, Josh Allen. And JSN is good, but he's not like CD Lamb or Justin Jefferson, but still, those are really good values. You timed out on Judkins. Well, it happens, This is why you always got to set a queue. Not that I always do that. I've been known to time out before, so don't worry. Worst things have happened. All right, actually, I need to start setting my queue here too. So let's see. There's still plenty of good quarterbacks. I have no problem as my starter here. So, best ball is different. I admit that. But yeah, I never still feel the need to have the best quarterback. Okay, hold on. There goes Kyler. Let me take it's like what almost round 10. All right. Go the upside of Caleb, pair with my Rome. And then let's see. All right. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because you guys are going to snipe me here. Well, not a big newsworthy day today for NFL necessarily, but we've seen the trickle down effect now. All of a sudden, the second rounders are getting signed. See, Higgins, not him, his agent or the Texans or whoever you want to blame, kind of screwed it up for everybody by guaranteeing a contract, and now every second rounder is like, hey, I want that. Well, of course, why wouldn't you? And that looks like that's the trend. That's what's happening. They're all getting their guaranteed contracts. Good for them. And now, of course, with training camp starting everybody's reporting. So that's good. At least we don't have to sweat that. I say that because I see Luther Burden is on the board here. I'm not going to take him because I already have Rome Odunze, so that would not make sense. All right, I'll go Caleb and Goff. I'm pairing him with Sun God and Odunze, Rome, and I'm good. I'm set at quarterback. So what I'll do is very often I'll just take two mid-round quarterbacks that are both solid, and look, just whoever has the best week gets me points, and that's it. I still can't come around Trevor Lawrence though, Alex. I mean, look, he should. Obviously, Cohen being there should be a boon for him. I mean, yeah, the whole coaching staff, yeah, it needed to change. The change was necessary. It's happening. I don't know, man. I just don't know if he's it. Like, I think he's fine. I think he's kind of like Kyler Murray, except without all the rushing upside. I just very overhyped as number one overall pick, right? And we're just constantly going to keep the expectations high because of that, because of the college numbers, because of the number one status. And he's just constantly good, not great, or sometimes bad and then good, and just never consistently good and not great. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think I ever will be. I just don't think he's it, right? I don't think he's got any Joe Burrow in him. Put it that way. He should be better. They obviously got the new head coach. They got maybe a little bit help there with Travis Hunter. I just don't know. I think he's still capped. I would never want him as my QB1. Put it that way. Fine for a format like this. Fine as your number 2 quarterback. Ooh, or Pat that's a tough question here. You get to keep one, either Bowers or BTJ. I got to go BTJ. So we're talking Jags. Yeah, even the backup quarterbacks are able to get the ball to BTJ, and yeah, he's just a stud. I'm never gonna pass up an elite receiver for anything, much less a tight end. I get Brock Bowers. I get he could be the best tight end in the NFL still, but BTJ is going to put up more fantasy points. So I'm keeping BTJ. There goes. Anwar, a believer in Trevor Lawrence and scared to take him. Let's see. I don't need a quarterback. What do I need? You know what I need is tight end. I'm gonna bet on a bounce back from Dalton Kincaid. It was one of my misses last year. Not quite as bad a miss as Amir White. That was my number one. But Dalton Kincaid was kind of right behind him. Yeah. All right. 2 more picks away. So I could go tight end again if there's somebody I like here. I might go tight end again. Do I have? No, I don't have any. I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. All right. So I'll either go high upside, volatile receiver, or kind of boring tight end. I don't want a boring tight end. I'll probably go 3 tight ends anyways. All right. What the heck? Let's go Kyle Williams. All right, let's see. Bob has a question. A long question. Let me scroll the draft board up so y'all can actually see what's going on here while we read the question. All right, 12 team. League mates are average fantasy knowledge. All right, that works to your advantage. Is it reasonable to draft just RB and wide receiver in the first 8 rounds and double dip at QB and tight end rounds 9 and on? Absolutely. This is exactly what I was kind of talking about earlier. You should be fine with Dak in a 12-teamer. Dak as your starting quarterback, absolutely fine. Drake May, sure, why not? And then tight ends, Goddard, Ferguson. Goddard, by the way, that's thought about drafting, but I didn't get him. And it's, he solid. Like, how many tight ends are you really excited to draft that honestly you just know are going to pay off? Maybe 5. And we can't put Kelsey in there anymore. No, Kelsey does not count. He doesn't. I don't think Mark Andrews counts either. Like, he's not an automatic every week set and forget all season. I'm fine with Tucker Kraft as my starting tight end. If you want Dak Prescott and Jake Ferguson together, that's fine. So I like your thinking. That's exactly what I'm going to do in most of my redraft leagues. It's not just reasonable to do that. I think it's smart. Again, there's nothing wrong with having one of those elite quarterbacks if you want to take one, but they just go too early. I think typically it's not nearly the advantage that people think it is. So yeah, I would do that. Oh, Cody, I sniped you on Kincaid. All right. Well, that's good. That makes me feel better. Let's see. What do I need? Now, I'm not going to be happy with Kincaid as my tight end 1. I want somebody who has some upside as well. Which, by the way, I actually checked. We may do a video on this. I was curious. All these drafts going on. I checked my exposure in all the best ball drafts, and yeah, man, I have a lot of Jonnu Smith. I have way too much Jonnu Smith. I think I got to back off, just like for my own good. So let's see here. Don't have enough Jalen Wright. What do y'all thought, by the way? The one thing that's sort of news, if you want to call it that, Jaden Blue of the Cowboys. I think I posted this on the Discord. Being called borderline lazy. So and everyone's like, yeah, forget that guy. I don't know. When you all hear things like that, does that make you worry? You're just out on a guy. I mean, it's a little early. We know maturity issues aren't something to dismiss, right? Jermaine Burton last year, but I don't know. Well, there goes Jaden Blue. Okay, so you're not worried. I mean, look at this point, round 14. You take a shot on anybody. I'm just curious if that actually affects the way anybody here thinks when you're drafting. I was worried about Jaden Blue because they got 4 running backs, and just any Cowboys running back automatically gets overhyped, right? People just assume, yeah, Cowboys running back can be the next Zeke. Like, that's not the way it works. Oh, I go strange here. Let's get more tight end action. Yeah, so I already have several shares of Jaden Blue, and I was never like a big Blue truther anyways. It's just a lot of tickets. Like, okay, he's got a path, like possibly. Yeah, he could beat out Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. Not too worried about that. But honestly, what I really want to do is just not draft a Dallas Cowboys running back if I can help it, because it's going to be like this ugly 3-man committee, and the 3 guys aren't even going to be the same all year. It's just going to rotate and flip and flop. And so I think they're just all going to be busts. And I mean, I'll take some Jaden Blue here just because I'd rather take him than like Rashawn Johnson. I actually still like these running backs on the board a little bit better, like Braylon Allen, Jerome Ford, Rico Dowdle. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Jaden Blue, and we love our late round rookies, right? Blayshall Tootin was getting so much hype because he's the next Bucky Irving, right? Liam Cohen, the connection, the thing, and now everyone's like, yeah, maybe not, because they're like, yeah, Etienne's still there. He's going to get touches. He didn't get traded, and Tank Bigsby is still there. He's probably going to still be the lead back. So, we want to make running backs into something, and these late round running backs usually wind up being nothing. So, I mean, take your flyers if you're doing multiple best ball drafts. Of course, that's what it's all about, but just don't go crazy. All right. Good question. Bob wants to know, who do you think are the top 2 or 3 players that simply tend to go too early in most drafts? Well, I can say, just close my eyes and don't even tell me what year it is, but if it's any time in the past decade, it's going to be a Chiefs receiver and it's going to be a Cowboys running back. Rashee Rice was going way too early, and now he's not. I think Brock Bowers, even if he is the best tight end in the NFL and the best tight end in fantasy, again, he's still probably going too early. Tight ends in general who aren't Bowers and McBride, those others are probably going a little too early. But want specifics besides them? Let's see. I mean, first round, everybody knows who the first rounders are. That you can't say those guys are going too early. Bowers is the first one. I'm gonna agree with Chris. Is Tyreek Hill? I think he might be done. At the very least, I don't know that he's an elite player anymore. There's just too many red flags. Way too risky to be going as early as he's going now. Hold on. Okay, it's my turn again. All right, let's get our third tight end and be done with it. Kelsey is probably still going too early just based on name, you know. Guys like that. Okay, hold on. Let's see. So I got 2 quarterbacks. I don't think I need a third because Williams and Goff are fairly safe. I got 3 tight ends now. And I said I'm going, I guess, I don't know if you call it hyper fragile. I don't care what you call it. I got 5 running backs. Early investment. I'm going to stop at 5. I'm now just loading up on late round wide receivers. I mean, that's all I got left here. I just need receivers. You know what? Okay. Another guy I have a lot of. Probably too much. Let's see if this team snipes me. You did. Well done. You took Dyami Brown right when I was going to. Okay. No problem. I can take how many Texans? Let's go Jalen Noel. See if he possibly carves out a role. I mean, honestly, he's just hoping for injury at this point. Yeah, that's exactly it. The tight ends are just always overdrafted. That's just a general issue here. What's up, Flacco? Feel about Devontae Adams? Solid, much better than last year. Last year, the situation, went from bad to slightly less bad, but not great. I still believe in Stafford's arm much more than Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, sure, he's competing with Puka. You're like, oh, Puka's there. Garrett Wilson was there in the Jets. Like, how is that different? Same type of player, same exact thing, young alpha wide receiver. And sure, he may not get force-fed targets like he did with Rodgers, but he'll be open enough. He doesn't need to. It's the Rams' offense. They will get a ton of targets, period, both of them. I love Devontae Adams this year because I think he's fairly priced too. He's going to go about where he should go. So, yeah, I'll take Devontae Adams pretty happily in, let's say, round 3, or even if I can get him round 4. That's good. And yeah, I agree with you, Angelo, and Ingram believer. I got a lot of him in Ingram. After Jonnu Smith, I think he's a tight end to have the most exposure to an underdog. I think Ingram landed in the perfect situation, and he's being undervalued because last year missed time with injury, right, and had a kind of disappointing season overall. He should be fine. He should get plenty of time on the field, plenty of targets. Yeah, I'm pretty all in on Ingram because I don't have to draft him early. All right, let's see. Favorite QB who's not in the top 5. Favorite non-elite QB, like the one I'm drafting the most? Well, I'm like, okay, I really am not getting much Mahomes, especially in a redraft league. I know most people have Baker. Sorry, hold on. 3 picks away. Most people have Baker next. I think Baker's fine. Usually, if I'm going to wait, I'm just going to wait. I'm taking shots on Caleb Williams like I did in this draft. I think there's just too much there, too much talent. There's too much in place with with Ben Johnson there, I feel like just could be this year's breakout QB. So Caleb Williams is a guy I'm going to pretty frequently over and over again. And if I just want to play it safe, I'll go Purdy. Nothing wrong with Purdy. All right, last round here, last pick. Yeah, I still think I need another receiver. Let's see. I'm trying to think now because we're I thought about Coker. Oh, you know what? I almost have no Jalen Royals. Let's just do Royals. See? Just because he's the Chiefs receiver. See, I did it. I fell for it. No, it's my last round pick. I mean, whatever. All right. Let's get to seeing how this draft wound up. I'm going to show you now my team because you guys get your last picks in here. And I'm going to flip it over. I'll look at your teams real quick too, if you guys want to, if you request. But let me share my other screen. Okay. This draft is almost done, but let's see here. So, quick recap, by the way, this is the Puppy Part 2. Same rules, typical underdog rules, half PPR. You need a quarterback, 2 running backs. Let me show you 2 right there. It's the Puppy 2, $5 entry for a chance to win best ball tournament. It's 84% filled, so that's why we're doing it, trying to get in before it closes. So you still got some time. There's tournaments. Like all underdog tournaments here, you got qualifiers week 1 through 14, and then the playoffs. We want to advance. That's what we want to do, not just a good regular season team. We want to take it home. So that's why I'm trying to think of week 17 matchups and bringbacks. I got most of it memorized, but not all. But at the same time, we're just swinging for upside. All right, so 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a flex, tight end, and 10 bench players. Here are mine. And now the draft is over. All right, so I went Caleb Williams, Jared Goff. A lot of discussion today on when to take a quarterback. You can take an elite quarterback, and especially if you're going to stack. I do have several teams. So I got JD and Terry McLaurin, and I'm fine with that. Josh Allen is fine because you can get any Buffalo Bill receiver you want later in the draft. You don't have to pull the trigger early. Philly is tough because it's hard when you go Hurts early to also then get AJ Brown and or Devontae Smith just because how early they go, but you can do it. But look, I'm taking my shots and waiting. I'm loading up on elite receivers early, and I'll go Caleb Williams and either DJ Moore or Rome Odunze. That's the stack I've got a ton of. So I got Caleb Williams and Jared Goff. Pretty safe, boring QB2. Didn't need a QB3. So what I did here, which I've done a couple times, but honestly, I usually don't. And I usually just don't even draft Kyron, period. But I did it just to mix it up. Got Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, RJ Harvey, Aaron Jones, and Jalen Wright. So between these two, they really should serve me as my top 2 running backs most weeks. And then, RJ Harvey has the potential. I love RJ Harvey. We got a lot of Harvey to break out. And with Aaron Jones as a RB4, like really solid, I didn't need anything more than just a guy here. Jalen Wright, also just a high upside flyer. So I would call it hyper fragile, sort of fragile, a sort of fragile RB room. And I still got Sun God, Drake London, Rome Odunze is my third. Okay, the depth here isn't great at receiver, but I'm probably flexing running back most weeks. Downs, Kyle Williams, Jalen Well, Dontayvion Wicks, and Jalen Royals. So depth. And then 3 tight ends. But I actually like my 3 tight ends too. So this team actually wanted better than I expected. I kind of like the way it came out. Nothing wrong here. Okay. Somebody, let's see. Anwar, Dark Star. Let's see what you guys got. Anwar went 2-6-7-3. Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. See, that's smart. You get an elite QB. You only need 1, and you wait. And he waited. So that was good. Cook, Pollard, Mason, Dobbins, Tootin, Ford. I mean, I like that, even though he didn't go heavy early RB. Guys like Dobbins and Mason are high floor. Ford's going to get touches, so it's almost like a pretty safe running back room, despite not going too early. CD, AJB, Travis Hunter to go with Lawrence, Debo, Coleman to go with Allen, and really smart drafting. Interesting that you took Besh and Dante Thornton. And then Henry, Okonkwo, Mason Taylor. So well done. All right, team 4. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, Dark Star. This is Joe's 80. Is that right? Is that you? Make sure I'm breaking down the right team. Cody says he hates his draft. Why do you hate your draft? I'm going to look at yours real quick, too. We did this, by the way, less than 40 minutes. We got our draft done, so we got time to break down these teams a little bit. Usually we do this for our mocks, but let's look at, I think this is Dark Star's team. This is the team at the 4. When Kyler, Penix, Cam Ward, automatic A right there. Derrick Henry, James Conner, Warren Stevenson, Dowdle, Brashard Smith. Like, fine, you have pretty much as high floor of an RB1 and 2 as possible. You didn't have to go, with the same strategy I did, get, just 4 or 5 running backs. But they're very safe, almost a little too safe, I would say. Jaylen Warren doesn't do much for me in best ball. But look, you got him 14 picks after ADP. So I see what you did there. Neighbors, Worthy, Ridley to go with Ward, Judy, Mooney, Kirk, and Lockett. Very nice. And then McBride. Ooh, and Jonnu. Yeah, I like it. A lot of upside. Okay, Cody, you are, I think this one. Make sure. Yeah. Oh, team 4 is Kurt. Oh, that was Joseph's team. All right. Sorry. I got it switched here. So let's do this one. I know that's Daniels because it's got his name on it. All right, Kurt, this one. You got Burrow, Herbert. You're solid there. Barkley, Hubbard, Tracy, Sharps, Bigsby. All right, so you did only 5 RBs too. All right, so Barkley and Hubbard. Yeah, I think Hubbard is pretty high-end RB2, I would say. Now, this is where people might disagree. Tracy, some people feel like Tracy is just going to lose his job. Like it's Cam Scatterbo's to lose, and Tracy is going to be worthless. I don't think so. I love Tracy as a high upside 3rd running back. I don't want to rely on him, but in best ball, I love Tracy. So I think that's a smart move, but some people might not agree. Now, Charbonnet is where on the other side. Charbonnet, I think people think, well, look, what happened last year if Walker gets hurt? I think you're really hoping for an injury. I think Sharps is going to be very limited if Walker's out there. So I don't love getting Charbonnet unless I'm really doing like a 0 RB draft. But yeah, and then Tank is a solid 5th running back. So you shouldn't need much more, right? If Hubbard keeps his job all year, then you really shouldn't need to go beyond this. So let's see. Ladd, T, Myers, Pittman, QJ, Wandale, Austin, Yosevich. You got Kittle, Ferguson, Gasecki. I like getting Kittle there. Got him late. The receiver room is good. It's not amazing to me, though, because I know you went Burrow, Higgins, right? So you got Burrow somewhat early. So Higgins is fine. I feel like I'd rather have Myers as like my 4th receiver than my 3rd. Because again, in this format too, he's more floor than ceiling. So I think Myers is fine if he's like a depth play. I just feel like we want a little more upside. And that's my only thing is the receivers here, Pittman and QJ. Well, I guess you got QJ to go with Herbert, right? So I don't love the receiver room overall. But I mean, I think you definitely have enough going on here with those stacks. I think you got a lot of upside. Okay, and then let's see. I got a question here. Shifty. Is trading Hubbard CDT for Jamar and a tight end premium with a super flex good? No. That's a lot. I mean, that's not a huge difference. If I can't even say there's a big difference between Jamar and CeeDee, both elite receivers. You give him T, Higgins, and Hubbard. I feel like that's too much. I mean, I don't know why you want to go all in just for that one player. You're giving up an elite receiver also, plus a high-end wide receiver too, plus a solid running back. I feel like it's a little too much. You need to get something back. All right. And then let's do Cody's team, Eagles fan. That's right. All right. Eagles fan said he didn't like his draft. Okay, you got Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy. All right, fine. Let's see. Jonte Henderson. So you're going Young, Ray Davis, Trey Benson, Jalen Blue. All right, so this is interesting. Running back. You got, I'm not going to count, I've got my share of Monon guy, but let's just pretend like he's not a factor. Here's your last round pick, right? And Jaden Blue, we talked about Jaden Blue. He's a maybe. I have a ton of Ray Davis and Trey Benson because these are the most high end of handcuffs that there are. And with Henderson, I mean, you have a team that a running back is very all or nothing, right? Trey Benson could do nothing like last year, or he could step up and be huge. Ray Davis, if something happens with Cook, yeah, you have a ton of upside. But this also could wind up being where you're missing points sometimes. So this is going to be a very interesting running back room. I like the chances you took, though, because, again, this is a tournament. We're playing to win, right? We're not playing to score 7 points every week from our running back 2 position. You got BTJ, Ted, Juwan Jennings, Igbuka, Higgins, Pierce. Okay, so your whole team is just super young. You got a lot of rookies. So I wouldn't necessarily go that young everywhere because both your starting top 2 running backs were rookies. Your last 2 running backs were rookies. 3 of your top 5 receivers are rookies. So it's just going to be volatile and it could pay off, but we want a little bit of balance here. So a ton of upside. I'm on the edge of saying that Ted McMillan in some of these drafts does get overdrafted. I think taking him at 37, it's a little early. I mean, he has to be the best rookie receiver basically in order to pay off, right? So if you're convinced, then that's fine. I mean, he might do it, but I don't know. He's going a little early for my taste. All right. Yeah, of course. Don't forget Daniel here all the time. We're not going to skip your team. Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Anthony Richardson. That is not a guy I'm drafting, but you took him with the very last pick almost of the whole draft, so it's fine. Actually, it was the last pick. Was it the last pick? No, second to last pick. All right. So, I mean, I don't think you needed a third quarterback, but why not? Bijan, Walker. Okay, the Judkins pick. We'll just ignore the Judkins pick because you said you timed out. You made up for it with Samson, Shipley, Allen, and Hunter. Okay, so you're just hoping Kenneth Walker, stays healthy all season. And if he does, then you're fine because you don't need those Browns or these other guys because they're all, again, you went pure flyer at the running back position after your top 2. Harrison, Wilson, JMO, Pearsall, Tillman, Hopkins. Guys, other than Hopkins that I'm drafting a lot of. It's interesting, though, you only have 6 receivers. And so, I mean, yeah, you should feel good with those first couple. And I love Pearsall. I'm drafting him a lot. And I like Tillman for where he's going. But I would probably have preferred another receiver with some upside there. Although I do love you got 2 really good tight ends. But yeah, I mean, I think the Judkins pick, you would have gotten maybe a good receiver there that would have changed things. But overall, I think it's pretty solid. A couple of picks I wouldn't have made, but you know what? You've done a lot of these drafts because you're here all the time, and you got to change things up, right? All right. Well, thank you. Nor says he likes this. Yeah, we do the takes in the mock draft, the redraft leagues. We don't do as much for the underdog drafts, but this one we wrapped up pretty quickly. And look, the thing is with best ball, you have to think differently. You've got to try different things. You really can't. And why would you do just one? You got to keep going into it. You just got to keep drafting, try different builds. You're going to draft from different spots. You're going to wind up with totally different players, even if you draft them in the same spot, because the players that you're drafting with are different. You don't know what they're going to do. So keep at it. Do some slow drafts too if you don't want to have the pressure of picking live. I love me some slow drafts, and I'm probably on the clock in about 10 more right now. So if you want to do any of these guys, anybody here who hasn't tried it, know somebody at the beginning said, haven't done these before, this is Underdog. They have a ton of contests. Okay, so just go to the drafts. You go to the lobby here. You pick NFL. Best Ball Mania. I'll probably get back to that again tomorrow. Got the puppy. It's $5. You can try the rookies and sophomores. Any of these things I talked about at the beginning. Even the big dog if you're feeling ambitious. But yeah, try it out. Just make sure if you're signing up for the first time, you saw this, you thought, man, that was pretty fun. That looks easy, no pressure here. Try it out. Just make sure if you're signing up for the very first time on Underdog and you create your account, when you go to the checkout, there's a little section for a promo code. Put Endgame, like it says there on the bottom, just Endgame, because that gets you a free pick, which you can use in anything, and also it gets you some bonus cash depending on how much you deposit. So try that out. All right. BBM, yes. I think so, Anwar. I think we're going to do BBM next stream. No, Shifty, don't trade Terry just because of the contract, because you might trade him and then the next day he signs. No, I wouldn't worry about that. Don't trade him. All right, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one. And by the way, anybody here into baseball, if you have any interest, gonna jump on the baseball channel, do a live stream there. Maybe you don't care at all about baseball. You know what? Show up anyways. Say what's up. I'll be on there, answer your questions. Subscribe to that channel just to help us out. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.